Think about the last time you felt genuinely, properly good. Not caffeinated, not pushing through, just steady, clear, and like yourself. If you had to think about that for more than a second or two, you are not unusual. And today's business was built on exactly that observation. Welcome back to the Next Biz Thing. I am Markus J. Diploma, and every week on this show, I go looking for companies building something considered in a market that mostly rewards noise. Today, we are stepping into the wellness aisle, which is not a place I visit often because it is loud and it is crowded, and a great deal of what sits on those shelves is marketing wearing a lab coat, which is precisely why this one caught my attention. The company is called Tune, and their first product is called Current. Let me start with the premise, because the premise is the whole business. Tune's founding observation is stated on their site in a single sentence I keep coming back to. Most people are quietly running low, and what helps should not be complicated, sugary, or hype. Read that again and notice how much is packed into it. There is a diagnosis, which is depletion. There is a critique of the existing solutions, which are complicated, sugary, and overhyped. And there is an implied promise about what they intend to build instead. Now, why do they believe people are running low in the first place? Their reasoning points at a few things stacking up together. Mineral content in soil has declined over time, which means the food grown in it carries less than it once did. What ends up on the plate does not always close the gap, and modern life adds a stress load on top that quietly draws down the same reserves. Whether or not you find every part of that argument equally compelling, it is a coherent thesis, and it is stated openly rather than gestured at. The founders came at this from a specific angle that I think is worth pausing on. They describe being motivated by watching the people who give the most get back the least. Athletes, healthcare workers, people in recovery. That is a telling list, because it is not a list of ideal customers from a marketing deck. It is a list of people who are running themselves down in service of something and who tend to be last in line for their own care. But here is where the thinking gets interesting. Rather than build a product for that narrow group and charge a premium for the association, Tune went the other way. They recognized that depletion is not exclusive to elite performers. Busy parents deal with it. People at desks all day deal with it, so the product is deliberately built for ordinary life rather than for extremes. That is a real strategic choice, and it runs against the grain of the category. The default playbook in supplements is to wrap yourself in athlete imagery and let ordinary buyers aspire upward. Tune's positioning is closer to, this is for you, on a Tuesday. So what is the actual product? Current is a daily mineral and vitamin drink mix that comes in stick packs. You tear one open, put it in 12 to 16 ounces of water, and drink it. That is the entire ritual. 3 flavors are available: lemon lime, watermelon, and wild berry. Where it gets more interesting is what is inside and how deliberately it has been put together. There is magnesium at 220 milligrams, and it arrives in 3 different forms: magnesium bisglycinate, magnesium malate, and ionic magnesium. Using 3 forms rather than 1 is a formulation decision, not a marketing one. Different forms behave differently in the body, and blending them is a considered choice rather than a shortcut. There are electrolytes in the conventional sense: 500 milligrams of sodium and 330 milligrams of potassium. There is 500 milligrams of vitamin C and 1,000 international units of vitamin D3. There is a B complex, and specifically in bioactive forms, meaning forms the body does not have to convert first. There is an antioxidant complex they call vitaline, and there are trace minerals, more than 70 of them, drawn from an inland seawater concentrate. That last number is the one that separates this from most of what sits beside it. A typical electrolyte product is essentially sodium and potassium with flavoring. Tune's argument is that hydration is not only about those two, and that the wider mineral picture matters. They also emphasize pairing ingredients that work well together, rather than simply listing as many as possible on a label. On the other side of the ledger, the things deliberately left out. Zero sugar, no artificial dyes, no artificial flavors. It is keto-friendly, gluten-free, and vegan. And they state that every batch is lab-tested with transparent labeling. The company describes Current as supporting deeper hydration, calm energy, faster recovery, and immune support. Like every dietary supplement sold in the United States, the packaging carries the standard note that these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and that the product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. I mention that not as a caveat tacked on at the end, but because it is the honest frame for the whole category, and because Tune has been notably straightforward about what the product is. I want to spend a moment on the phrase calm energy, because I think it captures something real about who this is for. The wellness market has spent 2 decades selling energy as intensity, more alertness, more output, more push. Calm energy describes a different target entirely, not being wired, just having enough. Their operating principles are worth stating plainly because they are unusually specific for this industry. Science over hype, meaning bioavailable nutrients, dosed at levels intended to actually do something, formulated to work together. Clean ingredients, meaning zero sugar, transparent labels, and lab testing on every batch, and real-world focus, meaning products designed for everyday lives rather than only for elite athletes. If you have spent any time reading supplement labels, you will know how often the opposite happens. Proprietary blends that hide the amounts, long ingredient lists at doses too small to matter, present so the label reads impressively. A choice to name your doses, publish your forms, and test every batch is a choice that makes it harder to cut corners later. That is the kind of constraint a company only adopts if it plans to be around for a while. The people who show up in their testimonials line up with the founding story rather than contradicting it. Mountain athletes, skiers, yoga coaches, fitness professionals. They talk about energy that lasts and about recovery. Notice these are not celebrity endorsements. They are people whose work depends on their bodies functioning consistently, which is a reasonable proxy for whether something is doing anything at all. Commercially, the model is simple. Current is sold directly through their own storefront with a subscription option that takes $3 off per pouch. Direct-to-consumer with a subscription option is a sensible fit for a daily habit product. If someone is taking it every morning, the job is to remove the friction of remembering to reorder. And selling direct means the label, the claims, and the story stay in the company's hands rather than being flattened into shelf space. So let me pull back and say why I think this is worth your attention beyond the specific product. There is a shift happening in consumer health, and it is a shift toward legibility. For a long time, the winning strategy in this category was mystique. Proprietary blends, exotic ingredients, vague promises, and a very good-looking bottle. What is changing is that buyers have become fluent. They read labels, they look up ingredient forms, they notice when a dose is too small to matter. Once your customers can read the label properly, transparency stops being a nice gesture and starts being the competitive advantage. Tune is built for that world. Named doses, named forms, stated reasoning, batch testing, a founding story that explains why the product exists rather than just asserting that it is the best. those are all bets that the informed customer is the one worth winning. And there is something quietly appealing about the modesty of the ambition. This is not a company claiming to optimize you or unlock some hidden tier of performance. The stated goal is to help people feel like themselves. That is a smaller promise and a much more honest one, and I suspect it is the one most people actually want. So if you have been eyeing the electrolyte aisle and wondering whether anything in it is meaningfully different from anything else in it, Tune is worth a look. Go and read the ingredient panel for Current, which is exactly the kind of company I want to send you to, because reading their label is genuinely a good use of 2 minutes. Read the About page too for the founding story. And as with anything you add to a daily routine, a word with your own doctor or pharmacist is never wasted, particularly if you take medication or have an existing condition. That is the episode. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you know someone who is running on fumes and calling it normal, this one might be worth passing along. I have been Markus J. Diplama, and this has been the Next Biz Thing. Until next time, keep an eye out for the ones building something worth building.